Several categories of frontline workers on Nevis are to receive an honorarium in November in recognition of their contribution during the period of the COVID-19 pandemic. The announcement was made by Premier Mark Brantley during his 17th November press conference held at the Premier's office in Charlestown. The honorarium will be for the period March 2020 to October 2021. The qualifying individuals will receive $2,000.
We are seeking to reward those by a small token of appreciation. We can never afford to pay them for what they did, but a small token of appreciation, who worked diligently and were on the front lines in the fight against COVID between the period March of 2020 to October of 2021. And why is that period relevant? That period is relevant because the pandemic started for us in March of 2020. That's when we first had our cases and went into lockdown. And the restrictions were eased, protocols and the borders reopened in October of 2021. This is not an exercise that has been done by the Cabinet. The Cabinet exercise was really to come up with a policy. And so the various departments will be asked to compile their list. We will know already who the taxi operators were that stepped up to the plate. We know already who the water taxi operators were who stepped up to the plate. And so we would have all of that sorted. I'm advised by the Ministry of Finance that the payment should be made on or before November 30th. And so I am very pleased to bring some closure to that in terms of categories of workers and in terms of who will benefit. So the cutoff date is on or before November 30th. I'm not sure what day that is, but it will be on or before that date in terms of a payment.
Brantley indicated the honorarium was the right thing to do when some persons face COVID-19 risk in their operations and service to the country. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
The Nevis Reformation Party NRP candidate for Nevis 2, Dr. Patricia Bartlett, is expressing her concern with the present state of healthcare on the island of Nevis. Dr. Bartlett, on Monday, November 14th, during Your Voice with the NRP radio show on Vaughan Radio, made mention of the Alexandra Hospital expansion project that has been ongoing for more than 5 years.
I've seen the pictures, I've commented on them because I think the first coat of paint went on just before, on the eve of the federal elections. And then at that point in time, I would have pointed out that that is just what it was, window dressing. Mm-hmm. They put in some windows on the upstairs, the part that you can see from the road, and then downstairs, nothing was going on. Mm-hmm. And it was just a show. And it's unfortunate that you try to fool people. Obviously, he knows that he can't fool the people in Nevis who live on Nevis, who really need the hospital to be completed, because we need an upgrade in the services that are being delivered to our people. And in the meantime, our people have to travel so far sometimes, just to get health care.
The NRP said it understands that consultants from the Pan American Health Organization advised the Nevis Island administration that the structure is unfit to be a hospital and recommended that a reconfiguration of the interior space be done. However, Premier Mark Brantley, in his monthly press conference on Thursday, provided an update saying construction work on the new wing is 85% complete.
The ongoing expansion works there. We have, I'm told, as of this morning, 85% of also of the windows have been installed. We have the ongoing painting of the exterior that should be done in about 2 weeks. The interior will be done by drywall, will be the interior. And so I am advised by the contractors that the exterior had to be enclosed in order to allow them to proceed with the drywall work on the interior, because they didn't want the interior being done in rain and all that coming through open windows. And so what we have sought to do is to create a more conducive atmosphere there, to create something that was aesthetically more pleasing to the eye as people pass by. And so the painting was done, and the interior work will commence in earnest once the enclosures are completed and we can start the reconfiguration in terms of the sheetrock on the inside. We are currently compiling a list of equipment to be used in that new wing when we hope to have it fully commissioned and opened in the new year.
Meanwhile, Dr. Bartlett also raised questions relating to the delivery of dialysis treatment on Nevis.
Somebody would have given him 167,000 US dollars at one point in time. That was in 2018, I think, to get dialysis machines for the people of Nevis. And we don't know what happened to that money. I don't know if he has accounted to them, but he has certainly not accounted to the people of Nevis for receiving those monies and what he did with them, because we have not seen any movement towards dialysis. He would have said that he had people in training to operate dialysis machine. Nothing ever came of it, and that was since 2018.
According to the NRP, in 2012, while it was in government, at the time purchased a dialysis unit which consisted of 2 dialysis machines, a water treatment plant, 2 patient-centric chairs, examination room, and a nursing station. The NRP said the dialysis unit was assembled in Israel and arrived in Nevis on April 1st, 2013, but to date has not been set up. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. The holiday season is approaching, and now is the time to get the message out about your business. SKN Newsline introduces special advertising rates for the Christmas season with our Christmas specials. You can advertise on the SKN Newsline Newscast or send special holiday greetings to the general public with our Christmas greetings on both SKN Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio at affordable prices. Call our marketing department for more information, 665-7496, or email advertising@sknnewsline.com. 'Tis the season to be jolly, so enjoy our Christmas specials at SKN Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio and promote your business the effective way this holiday season. Your vehicle is very important to you. That's why you should ensure it gets the best service and care possible only at IAS Diagnostic Center, located at Bird Rock behind the Life Fitness Center gym. Come to IAS Diagnostic Center for wheel alignment, rotor cutting, AC servicing, wheel balancing, oil filter change, diagnostic, tire repair and sale, tinting, and much more. With top-of-the-line equipment, come to IAS Diagnostic Center in Bird Rock. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 767-4422, 662-4416, or 466-6708. IAS Diagnostic Center for quality care of your vehicle.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips. Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
It's the gospel event of the year. Tehillah Band presents G5's Go Party. Friday, November 18th, 7 p.m., the Church of God of Prophecy at Buckley's location, featuring headline artists from St. Lucia, Emran Henry.
Man, we are coming out. We are coming with the
From the British Virgin Islands, take it. Restoration Gospel Band.
We wanna see Jesus.
And from Sweet Sugar St. Kitts, L1. Roots Band. And the host band, Tehillah. It's comedy, live music, prizes, games, and ministry. Get your early bird tickets now for only $40 until October 31st. Regular price for tickets, $50. Purchase tickets at Bev's Enterprises on 4th Street. On Nevis, call Yolanda de Castro at 663-7655. live. Tickets can also be purchased on JAD at events.jad.cash/G-Vibes. It's G-Vibes Glow Party, Friday, November 18th, 7th, Church of God of Prophecy, Buckley's location. Come on out and let's turn light life for Jesus Christ.
Holy Ghost, carry up. I'm a warrior. Earth, that's a hunter. I'm a warrior.
In the high-level segment of the United Nations Climate Conference, COP27, St. Kitts and Nevis' Minister of Environment and Climate Action, Dr. Joel Clark, called for moves towards climate justice and for the observer inclusion of the Republic of China on Taiwan. Minister Clark spoke to the fragility of small island developing states and the need for a change in outlook of economic classification, saying there cannot be any action without addressing climate justice.
The severity of loss and damage is traumatic. What then is the game changer? There is no action without addressing climate justice, which embraces climate finance, a perennial challenge of SIDS. We must start by acknowledging the vast differences in the economies of scale and fiscal inability to respond to such climate events, as well as the problems of classifications as a middle-income country based solely on GDP. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we have embarked on a journey of green possibilities. Our goal is to become a sustainable island state. Our energies are currently focused on harnessing geothermal energy. Our 39-year-old friendship with the Republic of China, Taiwan, has supported our renewable energy pathway. Together, we have produced 2.5 megawatts of renewable energy for our citizens. Taiwan has partnered with many countries to reduce emissions. We here proclaim that COP27 is one of action and implementation and has been branded Together for Implementation. Mr. President, St. Kitts and Nevis highly recommends that the Republic of China, Taiwan become observers. Your serious consideration will be highly appreciated.
CARICOM member countries, as well as other small island developing states of the Pacific Ocean, are at COP27 in Egypt advocating for climate justice. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
St. Martin Member of Parliament Rolando Bryson is taking steps to make Bitcoin Cash legal tender on that island. Mr. Bryson, who was one of the speakers at the recently held Electronic Cash Conference in St. Kitts on the weekend, told SKN Newsline about the attempts he's taken to make Bitcoin Cash legal tender and the challenges he's facing.
I think the number one thing is education. There's a lot of misunderstandings. I've been there throughout this journey of learning cryptocurrency, that there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of misunderstandings, and you have to get to the root of what cryptocurrency is, the Satoshi white paper, the original purpose of it, peer-to-peer electronic cash. When you really stick to that definition and then understand what Bitcoin Cash is, then you understand that this is totally decentralized. This is not something on an exchange like FTX or anything like that. This is something in code that is handled between individuals. There's no one person that owns it. There's no one entity that governs it. It's the community of everyone that uses it that sets the price and sets the protocol. So I think we're in with the right direction, especially with St. Kitts' announcement that they will have legal tender probably by March 2023.
He said Bitcoin Cash is not widely used on St. Martin at the moment compared to St. Kitts and Nevis.
In St. Martin, I would say it's not as prevalent yet in St. Kitts. A lot of that has to do is because I think we need more tourists actually using it and spending it and being aware of it. And also legal tender, that's why I say people want a sort of protection and afford a status for this currency before they use it. Because if I use it to pay salaries or use it as a contract, it would be like me saying, well, can I buy a house with apples or can I buy a house with beef? No, it needs to have a sort of currency status, and then I think at that point there'll be securities to protect users and to make contracts legal that people transact in Bitcoin Cash.
Meanwhile, another speaker and conference participant from Australia, who goes by the name Bitcoin Jason, spoke highly of the conference and of St. Kitts and Nevis' reception to Bitcoin Cash.
Being an Australian, it was a great opportunity to come to your country, to this conference, to this event, and the ease of me as being an Australian coming to your country without having to convert Australian dollars into USD has been a cost-effective means of spending more of my money in local businesses here, because the price gouging from the exchanges gave me more money to spend. So thank you, St. Kitts, for adopting me, having me into your country. I think it's great. I would love to come again. And just imagine, St. Kitts and St. Martin's having Bitcoin Cash as legal tender. It'd be so much easier for travellers like myself to come from Australia, from wherever, to go to St. Kitts, to St. Martin's, and not worry about exchanging into different currencies to do so.
At Saturday's conference, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Terence Drew, spoke of the government's intention to explore the possibility of making Bitcoin Cash legal tender, providing that the necessary safeguards are guaranteed for users in St. Kitts and Nevis. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. The holiday season is approaching, and now is the time to get the message out about your business. SKN Newsline introduces special advertising rates for the Christmas season with our Christmas specials. You can advertise on the SKN Newsline Newscast or send special holiday greetings to the general public with our Christmas greetings on both SKN Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio at affordable prices. Call our marketing department for more information, 665-7496, or email advertising@sknnewsline.com. 'Tis the season to be jolly, so enjoy our Christmas specials at SKN Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio and promote your business the effective way this holiday season. Your vehicle is very important to you. That's why you should ensure it gets the best service and care possible only at IAS Diagnostic Center, located at Bird Rock behind the Life Fitness Center gym. Come to IAS Diagnostic Center for wheel alignment, rotor cutting, AC servicing, wheel balancing, oil filter change, diagnostic, tire repair and sale, tinting, and much more. With top-of-the-line equipment, come to IAS Diagnostic Center in Bird Rock. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 767-4422, 662-4416, or 466-6708. IAS Diagnostic Center for quality care of your vehicle.
Online radio has never been this great. It's Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Tune into Voice of the Caribbean Radio for great Caribbean programs, news, entertainment, sports, and current affairs. Wake up each morning and be inspired with One Day at a Time with Kim Huey. Stay abreast with news across the Caribbean and internationally with the Caribbean News Hour, and be entertained with shows like Reggaeville, Caribbean Classics, and Jive Music Show. Visit our website, download our Android mobile app, or listen us on TuneIn Radio. There is so much more on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Check website or app for program schedule.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one. If you're looking for a place to host that special event, conference, meeting, social event, party, whatever the occasion, your best option is the Millhouse Convention Center in Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Located on the picturesque Garvey's Estate, the Millhouse Guest House Convention Center has enough space for outdoor events overlooking the Caribbean Sea. If you're looking indoors, the center is equipped with amenities needed to make your event a success. And by combining both spaces, you're sure to have a memorable event, no matter the occasion. Call the offices at Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center to book your next event on simply the most beautiful place in St. Kitts. Call 668-1392. Millhouse Convention Center at Garvey's Estate, Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Making your event memorable.
It's become an all too common scene. Haitian refugees detained in the Dominican Republic. We met them in this military base in Dajabon, right at the border. They're being sent back to Haiti, even those who say they've built new lives here.
My husband works in a construction site and I was cooking at home when the police arrived. They wouldn't let me get my baby's clothes. I left all my money at home and I have nothing here.
Security forces here are telling us that most of these people were detained trying to enter the country legally, but some of these women are telling me that they have homes here and that their children were born in the Dominican Republic.
Mirlanda Pieri is with her 8-year-old son. She shows us his birth certificate that proves he was born in the Dominican Republic.
My son has a birth certificate. He was born here. They cannot send him back to Haiti.
The UN has called on the Dominican Republic to halt deportations. Haiti is in the midst of a political crisis that has gangs controlling large parts of the country. Thousands are fleeing. Lack of available healthcare services in Haiti have forced pregnant women to cross the border to deliver their children. But many are not allowed inside Dominican hospitals, and some have had their children on the street. Human rights activists say they're alarmed about what they call our President Luis Abinader's persecution of Haitians in his country.
There are massive deportations, and the cases are not individual. There's no due process. There's children with papers, others with just visas. It's just massive and a scandal. Even pregnant women being sent back to Haiti, and the law says that shouldn't be done.
The Dominican Republic is building a wall to protect its borders from smugglers, but also illegal migrants. Rubén Silie says his country is poor and cannot allow everyone in.
The only mechanism the Dominican Republic has is to show that it will not tolerate migrant irregularity or the deportations, and this is what we are doing. This has nothing to do with ethnical reasons or racism. That's another problem. If the state stops all deportations, we do not know what could happen here.
Haiti is facing its worst crisis in years. Human rights groups say its people are being discriminated against across the region. And they're asking the Dominican Republic, among other governments, for empathy for those who are trying to escape hunger, violence, and have no place to go.
Do you know where they're taking you?
Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Dajabon, on the Haitian border.
Taxi and bus operators have returned to work after 2-day strike action across the country. President of the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators, Jatu, says the actions of the operators were intended to help the government understand their cries for more time to pay up outstanding traffic tickets. He says commuters might not understand their action. Nicola Brown reports.
Public transport operators have returned normalcy to the public after 2 days of protest action. Supporting operators' return to work on Wednesday, President of the Jamaica Association of Transport Owners and Operators, Jatu, Louis Barton, says the intention of the all-island strike declares operators' interest to get additional time to pay up outstanding traffic tickets. He knows the public might not fully understand the intention of the strike.
The public is of the belief that we want an amnesty to not pay the ticket, never ever pay the ticket. But that is not what we are calling for. Probably we are using the wrong term. The wrong term was probably put to the public on Monday. What we are asking for is for operators to be given at least 6 months to pay off all those outstanding bills, all the outstanding tickets that they have.
The president reiterates the association sought a payment plan since the beginning of 2022 due to the challenges operators face.
We have been experiencing hard times. We have had the COVID. We have had a fare increase that is not commensurate with what we are with our expenses.
He says there is need for the government to investigate the number of tickets issued to operators.
Why any one person, whether you're a taxi operator or not, why should you have 5 or more outstanding tickets? Why should you have one outstanding ticket? The system should be set up. They need a new system to say that if you have one outstanding ticket, you will be notified and follow up and all of that.
The government says it remains steadfast in its position in not granting an amnesty to the transport operators. Nicola Brown, CVM Live.
Canadian universities have long been coveted by African students for their high academic credentials, but many who aspire to join them get their applications rejected. Cameroonian Serge Nwemsi was lucky to be admitted by the University of Quebec, where he's been working on his doctorate for more than 3 years. I've met people who have had their visas rejected more than 5 times. And that's usually related to financial problems, because the first time he told me, I don't have enough funds to immigrate to Canada. And when he got the funds, he applied again and he was rejected again. He was told, "We are not sure you'll return to your country of origin after your studies in Canada." Long viewed as a multicultural and inclusive society, Canada has had to admit recently that its immigration system is tinged with racism after high rejection rates among Africans seeking to study there. There are consequences not just for the students but also on the teachers' work. My research program was extremely delayed because I had recruited 4 or 5 students all together. They were all delayed by a year. I can't wait a year, but I had to wait. According to federal data, Quebec is the Canadian province with the highest rejection rate of African students, around 70% from French-speaking nations between 2017 and 2021. When we have students from Africa, whatever their social status, whatever their financial resources, we always tell them that there is a risk that they will be refused, even if their application is really strong, because there are blatant disparities in the treatment. The problem does not only affect students. In July, Canada was criticized for denying hundreds of delegates visas to travel to an AIDS conference in Montreal.
Now, Elon Musk has told Twitter staff that they must commit to working long hours at high intensity or else leave the company. Workers have been told that they needed to click on a link by Thursday evening if they want to be part of the new Twitter, as he put it. Well, let's go live to Glasgow now. Our technology editor, Zoe Kleiman, is there. Quite a statement, Zoe. What has he got to add? I mean, where's the incentive?
Well, what we know is that Elon Musk is a workaholic. You know, he says, by his own admission, he works hundreds of hours. He is very, very dedicated to his job. He said in a recent court case that he works all of the time, and he has very high expectations of his staff as well. Let's not forget that after the lockdowns, he was one of the first bosses to order his staff to get back into the office at Tesla, which is his other company. What's kind of interesting, I think, is that he might be looking to China here. China has a working rule which is called 996, and it's basically 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Now, it's not very popular, as you can probably imagine, and it certainly doesn't really fly in the West, but it is an interesting work ethic. And, you know, China, as we know, has a very, very thriving tech sector. He's expecting a lot. He's saying to people, if you don't want to come along for this ride, we'll give you 3 months severance pay. This is your moment to leave, which is, I suppose, giving people a reasonable way out. But it's a clear sign that working at Twitter is going to be a very different experience, perhaps, to what staff that are still there might have been used to under the previous regime.
Yeah, and I suppose the staff may accept, look, we're losing money, we've got to do something about that. But there could be a lot of people saying, you know what, I'll take the money and I'm out of here. That would cost an awful lot of money.
I think what we need to look at is what happens next with the tech sector. You know, as we're seeing, there's a lot of layoffs going on. There's a lot of unsettled companies. There's a lot of people pulling in their belts at the moment and sort of saying, you know, we need to lay off people. There needs to be less money. But what you've got to bear in mind about Silicon Valley is it is a pool of talent. It is a pool of very, very smart people, and they're not going to sit around doing nothing for very long. And I spoke to somebody recently who lives there and has lived there his whole life, and he said the way to look at it is to look at the coffee shops. Are the coffee shops empty? He says, no, they're not. They're full of people huddled, talking, coming up with new ideas. You know, we might now see a time of big change for the tech giants, but we might also see a time of opportunity for smaller, newer startups to come along.
Zoe, it's one of the great sagas of the moment, isn't it? Thanks very much indeed for bringing us right up to date. Thursday deadline not far away now.
I've
After several weeks of exciting cricket, the semi-finalists have been determined in the Super 50 Cup being hosted by the West Indies Cricket Board. In a crucial encounter on Monday the 14th November, which actually was a must-win situation for the Jamaica team, Jamaica defeated a feisty West Indies Academy team via the Duckworth-Lewis method. Summary scores: West Indies Academy 175 all out in 39.4 overs. Kirk Mackenzie 45, Jamie Merchant picked up 3 for 35, Nicholson Gordon 3 for 40, Pete Salmon 2 for 33. Jamaica in response 126 for 4 in 26.2 overs. Brandon King 48, Rovman Powell 26 not out. Kevin Wickham, he picked up 2 for 29. Jamaica won by 23 runs via the Dale method. The final point standings: in Zone A, Trinidad and Tobago 18 points, Guyana 16 points, Windward Islands 10 points, and combined colleges and campuses 2 points. In Zone B, Jamaica 16 points, Leewards 14 points, Barbados 14 points, West Indies Academy 4 points. The 4 semi-finalists therefore are Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Jamaica, and Barbados. The big finals is set for Saturday, the 19th November at 2 p.m. Tonight we bring you some moments from the closing ceremony of the recently held Luther Kelly Over 35s tournament.
The names we just gave to Mr. Philip Weather, and now we have Daniel Jacobs. Traveling with them, supporting, and I think because she has been honored tonight, she has been one of the most quietest fans, and her name is Vernice Liebard. Very good friend. Junior Duncan Mills. That every time when it's traveling time, he have to be on his phone, calling when you're going to bring the passport, what time you're going to bring the money, constantly for years. The last 3 years, he didn't have to do that, but it will soon start again. We call on Mr. Gary Rogers for your continuous support over the years, assisting the teams to travel to St. Martin. This plaque is going to be presented to Corporal Alison Rouse on behalf of the Willful Skillful Sports Club, thanking you for your continuous support, supporting the club for more than 20 years. For more than 20 years. The third place team to come forward and receive your trophy, please. Now we start to run. That can't help you in St. Martin. Nationals. So the winner of the 2022 number 13 Luther Kelly Over 35 tournament goes to Nevis A+ team. Come in front with it. Gotta make sure the minister. Yeah, go. Lulu, you so start and staying behind.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.